Is Messi the greatest of all time? When we talk about the greatest of all time, what exactly are we talking about? The most successful, the most skillful, the most entertaining to watch, the longest horns? Let's break it down. We're gonna try to look at it from the most objective way possible, rather than trying to convince you, which I have no interest in doing. I have no dog in this fight. I have no dogs at all. We'll simply examine the different data such as numbers, statistics, and performances. Starting with career. I've been watching Messi from the first time he played for the first team in Barcelona. Actually a little bit before, when he was still at La Masia. We all heard about this wonder kid. We saw videos of him dribbling across the entire field. But it still didn't mean a thing, because back then, like every few months, they used to talk about this new young talent from the Barcelona youth system that is going to be the next somebody. But it wasn't until the El Clasico when I really started to notice him, other than the fact that he wasn't even 18 yet, and he constantly asked for the ball like he's been playing with his team for years as a key player, and made a fool out of the very famous and expensive Galacticos of Real Madrid. I remember specifically two moments. One was when he dribbled through one of the best left backs in the history of the game, Roberto Carlos, and another when he received the ball when he was offside. He kicked the ball from outside of the box in a beautiful curvy way straight into the net. Of course the goal didn't count, but on that moment everybody went silent. The commentators were shocked, the players looked at each other. We all kind of knew at that moment, this kid is special. Sure, he was still young, he missed a lot of opportunities and chances, but the more the time went on, he only got better and better. His accuracy got better, his goal scoring got better, and once the star of the team at the time and also his mentor Ronaldinho left the club, Messi took over the number 10 shirt and the star player status. Together with arguably the best duo in midfield history, Xavi and Iniesta, and later formed one of the best attacking trios of all time with Neymar and Suarez. In those years, Barcelona was unstoppable. The best years in this club's history, and Messi was the main guy, winning pretty much every title and award and breaking almost every existing record, that if we'll go through them all, this video will be way too long than what it already is. But what about his international career? Yes, he won the World Cup, he won the Copa America, but is winning the World Cup and the Copa America is an indication for greatness? Some say there's plenty of players who won the World Cup but not really considered as the best. And also the opposite, players who never won anything with their national team but still being viewed as one of the best players to ever play the game. And also, let's not forget, football is a team sport. Sometimes you need to get lucky, not also to be lucky in the game itself, but also to be lucky to be born into one of the nations that have greater chances to win any international trophy. And unlike club leagues, we're talking about international tournaments that take place once every few years, with significantly less games and less opportunities to prove yourself in a consistent way. So what is a true indication for greatness in an international level? In Messi's case, forget about the times he won. We simply cannot ignore the fact that he made it to 6 different finals with Argentina, losing 2 of them on penalties. And in most of these tournaments, he was a key player involved in almost every play, every goal, every assist, winning player of the tournament, and becoming Argentina's all-time top scorer and the most caps. If any of these previous finals would have ended differently, the whole conversation about Messi's status as the GOAT possibly could have been cleared years ago. Even if he didn't win the World Cup or the Copa America, it's something that we simply cannot ignore. Also, we gotta mention that Pele and Maradona never won the Copa America. It still doesn't take anything away from their greatness. Ability. So there's no argument about Messi's career achievements. Some say, what more does he need to do to prove that he's the GOAT? But wait, it's not all about numbers, statistics, and awards. Is the number of goals an indication for how good you are? Maradona didn't play in the front like Messi and Pele. Obviously, it makes sense that he will score less goals. Same thing with trophies. Cruyff never won the World Cup or the Euros, and he's still been mentioned as one of the best of all time. So the question here is, what about pure individual skills? You know, when you watch the actual player during the game and his abilities on the field. That aspect of the game, the numbers cannot tell you. For some people, Messi's skills are not as impressive as other players. He kind of flew under the radar for them. I personally know people who don't fully understand the hype or the buzz around him. I mean, yes, no doubt, people agree that he's a very, very, very good football player, to say the least. But is he the best skills-wise? How can we really measure this? Some suggest that what gives Maradona the edge over Messi is that he took average teams and led them to greatness. He did it at a club level with Napoli and of course at international level with Argentina. Unlike Messi, who was surrounded by the best players. In that aspect, we can actually compare Messi with Pele, who also has the high numbers as well as in terms of goals, and received similar criticism. Yes, he achieved the highest awards with the national team, winning the World Cup 3 times, but he did it with a great team around him. Similar to Messi in Barcelona, Pele played most of his career in one club, Santos, who happens to be one of the best clubs in the Brazilian league, breaking multiple records. And I'm not gonna lie, in a parallel universe, it will be very interesting to see Messi plays for a smaller club and take them all the way to the top. Something I did many times playing PS. But at the same time, as a Barcelona fan, I can't complain. Yes, he was surrounded by the best players in the world in one of the best clubs in the world, but for a good reason. If he wasn't good, he wasn't there. It kind of makes sense. The question is, how good? Where do these numbers come from? Xavi and Iniesta. Just kidding. I mean also. But you see, only when you start paying attention to what Messi is doing with and without the ball is when you realize and appreciate the way he played. You see, the genius of Messi is what you don't see. With Messi, it's all about efficiency. The minimum amount required to produce the maximum results. He doesn't need step-overs or fancy tricks. No wasted energy. He runs only when he needs to. And when he runs, he'll take the fewest steps needed to reach the target as he stays close to the ground with the ball close to his feet and kick it at the exact right moment. Messi is known for his dribbles, but unlike other players who wait for their opponent to come and get the ball and then beat him with a trick, Messi is different. You will rarely see him in a situation like this. He's not wasting any time. He's going straight to the target in the most practical way possible. Always in constant movement. As Rio Ferdinand once described, the thing about him is that he doesn't even come near you. And when you did get close to him, he was that small and quick, he was going underneath. This guy is a magician. He's the best player I played against. We all kind of felt that if we played against that Barcelona team without Messi, we probably would have won. If you want to compare it to Maradona, it's similar to how Maradona was a colorful, entertaining character off the field, and he played exactly like that on the field, with a larger-than-life personality that you can run wild with in your imagination, with plenty of controversies and scandals, again, on and off the field. Messi is more of a simple, cut-to-the-chase type of guy, living a boring family life, scandals-free, doing his things quietly and straight to the point, off the field and on the field. Both great, just different. Maybe some people expect Messi to be Maradona, but he's not Maradona. He's Messi and he's doing things his own way, and hey, it works. And now comes the question. Is Messi better than Maradona and Pele? Well, first we need to decide which one of those two is better. Just kidding. But seriously, it's always problematic and challenging to compare between players from different eras, because the game has changed so much and it keeps changing all the time. It might look the same on paper, 11 versus 11, but it's almost like a different game. From the tactics, rules and technology and all the way down to the field and the ball itself. It's kind of like comparing Jesse Owens with Usain Bolt. Yes, Bolt is the fastest of all time and one of the most incredible athletes ever, but one has to wonder what it would have been like if Owens ran today with modern training, better shoes and better field conditions. Yes, in Maradona days, the defenders were much more aggressive, especially in the Italian league. You can see videos of players literally kicking Maradona's legs. He falls down on the ground, he goes back up and he keeps running. Unlike today when this will be considered a foul and the player will immediately roll on the ground and show his amazing exaggerated acting skills. However, if you look closely, you will notice that the defense back then played more like individuals who ran towards the attacker one by one, leaving plenty of space and gaps for the attacker. Unlike today, when the defense is much more organized, working together as a unit, closing down on attackers, there's a whole system with plenty of sophisticated advanced tactics. Therefore, nowadays it's not as common to see a player start dribbling across the entire field. Also, with today's modern technology, VAR, and every camera catches every angle, a lot of the plays and the goals back then would be disallowed today. I do believe that if Pele and Maradona played today, they would have probably adapted to the modern game. Same with Messi if he played back then. But we'll never know, and that is the beauty of the beautiful game. Different times, different players, different skills. Which brings us to the last part of this comparison. One of the biggest criticisms towards Messi was that he lacked leadership, unlike Maradona and Pele. But in his last World Cup, at the age of 35, he played every game all the 690 minutes, looking hungrier than ever, led Argentina as captain, was involved in almost every goal, every assist, most of the plays went through him, scored in every single knockout match, scored the most goals for his team, second most goals in the entire tournament, and won the best player of the tournament. Or as my Argentinian friend said during the World Cup, we've never seen Messi so emotional, so angry, so involved. Out of all the 830 players who are playing in this tournament, it's pretty clear nobody wants it more than Messi. Another Argentinian, Jorge Valdano, who's not a friend of mine, I wish, who won the World Cup playing alongside Maradona, said in 2013, Messi is Maradona every day. For the last 5 years, Messi has been the Maradona of the '86 World Cup. In conclusion, at the end of the day, it's really not accurate science. In theory, even if we could take two players from different eras and put them together one-on-one, sounds like a Nike commercial, we still couldn't get a clear answer because each one has its own different advantages, weaknesses. One can have a better day today but a bad day tomorrow. One can get more lucky than the other. It's things that we cannot measure. It really comes down to what you prefer. It's kind of like asking what's your favorite movie, your favorite song. It really depends on the mood. They're all great. Is Messi the greatest in terms of efficiency, achievement, success and awards? Most likely. Are there players who are considered more exciting to watch? Could be. I don't say Messi is not exciting to watch. I definitely find him exciting. But I can understand if some people don't. And it's okay. Different opinions. It's just different. Again, it's a matter of personal taste. Love him or hate him, you gotta respect him. If you love football, it is very hard to argue that at this point in time, Messi is the greatest. And still, you can't take away the fact that Pele was the first football superstar, invented most of the moves we see today, was way ahead of his time, and without him the game wouldn't be the same today. And Maradona, with unmatchable skills, vision, creativity, and probably the best individual performance in the World Cup history, including the goal of the century. I'm trying not to be politically correct here because you can never satisfy everyone, but I will say this on a personal note. I remember my dad used to talk about Maradona, who unfortunately I didn't get to see play because obviously it wasn't my time. I only saw recorded footage, and there's no doubt about him. I remember when I was in Argentina and I saw statues and wall paintings. He is a football god, just like Pele. But we, and by we I mean us, this generation who's been watching football in the 21st century, we can only say respectfully that our grandparents had Pele, our parents had Maradona, and we had Messi. And someday we'll say how lucky we were to witness his incredible journey that I can't wait to tell my kids about. Thank you, football legends, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.